So in a way, adultery isn't necessarily the most topical thing that we're focusing on, but what it is a really useful device for driving on this idea of shame and using shame as punishment, and driving on a torrid love triangle that's in the story as well.
It's not necessarily about her sin, but about the consequence of it. It's about, a punishment. It's about strict moral codes. It's about a place where, simple human expression of contact or love is kind of outside of a moral code.
Contemporary society is in many ways founded on this kind of silence, which is designed to cover up shame and corruption and all sorts of things. There's a very particular kind of stranglehold or kind of repressive thing that we're all complicit in, I think, and that exists in the Scarlet Letter.
The reason we all kind of toe the line and fit in with everyone is because we're scared of maybe being singled out and seen as different, and the shame is sort of implicit in that.
So I suppose particularly religious things as they feed into government, of the state. I'm talking, I suppose, really about things like the Magdalene laundries, things like the Murphy Report and the Ryan Report, and things like how we cope with abortion in this country, which is, it's just to not talk about it.
We have a plot skeleton that's kind of pretty close to the book, but we're also adding things ourselves which are important to our storytelling and our mythic present.
So it's very much set in Ireland, or in an Ireland, which is kind of a mashed up 20th century Ireland that is, in a more extreme way, finds itself suffering at the hands of that kind of oppression and that kind of that moral stranglehold.
We've kind of had to change bits of the structure around to get a scene that flows well. So in a way, we've kind of had to change things in the book to keep it faithful to the book. So it's kind of a strange duality there. Theatre is an art, and art is a form of communication, and for me it's for everyone. And so we don't put anything out that we think will alienate anyone.
You are invited into the world of this show in a way that's not like traditional. It's not like going and sitting in a dark theatre. You're not going to be asked to do things, but you're in the world.
The audience aren't separate from the action in the way that you might be in a normal theatre. The action very much surrounds them, and the lights and the sound and all of those things very much surround the audience. We really like being in a space that isn't a theatre and that offers something else, something for the imagination, really.
And it's a political building as well, and it's just interesting to kind of put our show in that space, I think, because there's lots of questions in our show about the nature of power and silence.
The fact of the matter is that we're all sharing the same space, and we should feel connected. And that's easier to do when you're not in a theatre because the rules are slightly different. What attracted us to this project was the fact that it was a really good story and really well told, and that's what we wanted to achieve with the adaptation.
That really interested us in looking at those inner psychologies and how to stage them and how that is different from the real world. So I suppose there's two very different languages happening.
The plot is the crucial thing. I mean, we can talk all day about ideas and themes and concepts, but all of those things hinge on the story and what happens to the people in this story.
Maybe don't bring your kids. Well, don't bring young children, anyway. Young adults is fine, I would say. Parental guidance, PG, 12 PG, maybe.
And no matter how many iPhones or iPads or rocket ships to the moon we build, we're completely flawed, and we will never be able to be fixed. And we'll fall into the same traps, whether it's love or revenge or kind of shame, all these things just keep on recurring over and over again, and it doesn't matter what age you are. These things are inbuilt in us. They're emotions, so if you have emotions, it's for you.
If you're a person who is into like a really good story, like a really good yarn, and you think you would enjoy that, or someone you might bring would enjoy that, then this show is for you. It wasn't me.
Evan, you go first. I'll contradict you afterwards.
Yeah, if I walk down the street and randomly start saying, "Oh, I'm so conflicted." What's your version of the event?
It's not that anyway.